Let's talk about recruiting. We're jumping in. We're giving the people what they want right off the bat, talking recruiting.
A little weekend hat trick, another one, right?
Another hat trick. Brian Niedermeyer, we were concerned maybe he didn't know the definition of hat trick. We were hoping he didn't know it and thought it was more. He clearly knows the definition of a hat trick.
Well, he's from Alaska, so it's not like I guess it'd be a hockey hat trick. It wouldn't be
he knows.
Not a soccer one.
Not a soccer one. I don't know if they play hockey in Alaska. I think there's too much. I think it's too cold to do that. There's...
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's too cold. There is definitely a limit because he had to learn what a hat trick was, and he has certainly learned. Jeremy Pruitt has learned, and the new guys are getting in on it. Joe Osavet's learning what a hat trick is
and rolling them in
from St. Fran. That pipeline could be absolutely fantastic. Two of the guys this weekend, and there are some more targets. Correct.
So in 2022, there's like 9 guys from St. Francis that are ranked in the top 300 right now.
Insanity.
Per 247.
Insanity. 2 guys this weekend from St. Francis and Baltimore, Maryland. I think a lot of people, and Maryland's recruiting pretty well. I can't remember what their rank is, but they're recruiting pretty well. I think a lot of people thought Maryland, and Maryland was in the final top 4, I believe, for Aaron Willis, but couldn't close it out. Tennessee goes in.
Top 3.
We're going to take your best player. Tennessee's going to take the best player in the state and not even think twice about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's Maryland right now. They're trying to like lock down the borders and just recruit St. Francis, and there's some other schools in that area, the Baltimore area, Washington, D.C. area, but weren't able to get him.
Nope.
Or Katron Evans.
Katron Evans, so he was the first to commit. That was on my days or off Saturday. Katron Evans commits to Tennessee and starts off, I think he even tweeted, like, this isn't it for the weekend.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he knew.
Do what?
A lot of people knew.
Yeah, a lot of people assumed. He kind of reassured us after his commitment that he wasn't going to be the last one in this class. We did, hopefully you watched the video that we did with talking about Katron Evans. He's a 4-star out of Baltimore, Maryland. He's out of St. Francis Academy, defensive tackle, and an absolute monster of a defensive tackle.
Yeah, 6'4", 320, and not just a guy that's just going to take up space. He's obviously going to take up space. He's 320. But a guy who's very athletic for his size. So, I feel like a lot of the players on Tennessee's roster right now, they just don't have, the defensive tackles just don't have, or unless we didn't see it last year, is very inconsistent of the plays they made. Now, they did a good job of taking up space, and they improved over the course of the season. But this is a guy who would add something just totally different. It's something we don't have on Tennessee's current roster. Just somebody who can take on blocks and get pressure on a quarterback at the defensive tackle position.
Yeah, I believe you mentioned how athletic he is. He's a guy that is going to take up space, but he also, I mean, if you watch this video, he's making a lot of guys. He's making running the ball very hard, very difficult. If there is a hole, it goes away very quickly. He's able to close it pretty quickly. Exciting guy that I think is going to make a ton of good plays, especially if the ends and the backers are filled out like they seem they're going to be. He looks like he's going to have a lot of help.
That whole entire defense is going to be incredible. I mean, we're getting faster guys, bigger guys, stronger guys, and just guys that are just athletes. I mean, you look at the 2 we got today, Aaron Willis, he's a 6-foot linebacker, but plays at one of the, St. Francis, one of the best programs in the country, and is just a freaking cannonball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, he'll probably get a couple targeting calls.
It's certainly possible.
Yeah.
It is pretty incredible how hard he's able to hit, which it helps that there's some big running backs in this film running at him, but he certainly lets guys know he's there, and it plays into the Pruitt mantra. The next the linebacker we're going to talk about next, it flies the ball.
Yeah,
and he matches. I mean, Terrence Lewis too, another commitment in this class out of Florida. Guys that just hit people as hard as they possibly can.
Yep,
it's exciting.
That tandem's going to be fun to watch with Aaron Willis and Terrence Lewis. Because then that'll be Henry To'oTo'o's junior year when they come in here. So he could potentially only have one season left on Rocky Top before he leaves for the NFL. So you'd like to think Aaron Willis and Terrence Lewis will be the future at those 2 inside linebacker positions.
Right, and Aaron Willis, another guy out of St. Francis Academy, and his offer list is nothing short of impressive. He's a guy who obviously his started trending toward Tennessee, but I can't imagine when his recruitment started picking up that a lot of people picked him to go to Tennessee.
Yeah. So, I mean, you beat out Maryland, like you said, the home state team. You also beat out the first clip in his highlight film is him in 7th grade murdering a kid. Oh, yeah.
Murdering a kid. Also apologize for the sound that just came through. Forgot to mute that, but if you didn't hear it, you felt it, so you just got both.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's amazing that he's been as talented. So if you go on YouTube and look up his highlights, it goes all the way back to 2015. And they're not impressive. Like, they're still very impressive. He's been a talent for a while.
Yep. A guy that I think is going to get a lot of tackles. Yeah. It seems to be like a tackling machine, always around the football. And like I said, just a freaking human missile when he gets a little more steam. He gets more steam and just, just like Tennessee's recruiting class.
Are we recruiting this many linebackers so when they get ejected for targeting, we're still fine? Like, we still have...
Yeah, I guess we're not having to throw like a J.J. Peterson, somebody who just is totally out of shape out there.
Right. We can just rotate in the next 4-star linebacker we have. So.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm okay with that. That seems like a good compromise.
Mm-hmm.
So human missile is a great way to describe a lot of the defensive commits we've gotten, but especially the linebacker commitments we've gotten.
And Joe Osvet, Brian Niedermeyer was kind of on Aaron Willis. Joe Osvet, he's also in the running for so he got Katron Evans, Aaron Willis, and then another tight end maybe in the works.
Where is he out of? You talked about that crystal ball. We'll get to Cadence Alter here in just a moment. Right before we went live, Landon tweeted that we started kind of trending for a tight end. Why don't you tell us about that?
So, yeah, it's Miles Campbell. He is out of Georgia, I think Paulding County.
Okay.
So I think he's like 6'3", 220. Guy that runs 4.5, 4.4 40.
And that's a need in this class, tight end right now. We haven't signed a tight end yet. I think there's a wide receiver in this class that potentially could be converted.
Yeah, there's a couple. Like D. Beckwith was thought that maybe he could be a tight end. Julian Nixon, Rock Taylor. There's kind of 3 guys that maybe could fit that mold at tight end, but they're gonna give them a shot at wide receiver first.
Gotcha.
So this guy could be a true, Tennessee's first true tight end in this class.
Right, and you said Osvet's recruiting him?
Yep.
New guy getting in on the action. I love it.
He's energetic, man. He's ready to go. He's ready to prove himself. I love it.
Right. I mean, we said it. We said when Tennessee had to was looking for that next on-field staffer, we thought they could promote from within. We knew when they put Joe Osvet on the road, it was an audition. You had to go try out for that position, and you went and won it.
Yep.
And you continue to prove yourself.
Yep.
So he's doing all the right things. And helping this team get better. Let's bump over to Cadence Salter. Every class needs a quarterback, and this one just got a pretty good quarterback. Cadence Salter, he's out of Cedar Hill, Texas. He's a four-star dual threat quarterback. Are we just gonna pick the numbers we like best? Because 247's got him as the number 4 dual threat. The composite's at number 10.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's either gonna go up with rivals or down for 247.
Gotcha.
So I like to use the composite just because it's all of them put together.
It's definitely a more accurate
right
representation of him. His stats, though, are very impressive, and this is a guy, true dual threat, can do it all, not the dual threat I'm talking about. Not that kind of dual threat. He's got plenty. He racks up the rushing and passing yards, and I think last year I think you tweeted out the stat,
38. He had 38 total touchdowns, so he had 28 through the air and then 10 on the ground. He had 2,550 yards passing and then 616 rushing yards.
Yeah. So his stats speak for himself. You already know he's in Texas, so you know the football's good down there. Don't think you're questioning the competition this guy's playing.
Yeah, and I like what you said. Every class needs a quarterback. That's exactly true. You have to have a quarterback in every class, or you're going to be slim like we were kind of slim the last couple years.
Right. You definitely want the problem we have going into 2020 where you're like, man, the quarterback's got to transfer.
Yep.
Rather than looking and going, I hope we get a quarterback transfer to fill up the room.
Yep.
You would definitely prefer it the other way around. Does Cadence Alter potentially decommit before, depending on how this season goes with the quarterbacks? There's still JT Daniels was apparently interested in Tennessee. Haven't heard anything about that cooling off. So, I mean, could you see him decommitting? Could you see him transferring once he's on campus? Sure. But as of right now, you've got a pretty good quarterback committed to your class, and that's going to help build the class. And very pleased, and very excited.
And JG will be gone by the time Salter gets here, and probably another quarterback will be out the door as well.
You would assume.
But he's a good pickup for Tennessee just because he brings something different to this roster. He's not, he's a dual threat, but he's also a pass first quarterback. He's not going to just sit there in the pocket the entire time, but he's going to make time and look downfield. And if he has to run, then he's able to do that.
Yeah.
So like Harrison Bailey, he's more like a pocket quarterback. He's going to stay in the pocket, and get the ball down the field. Whereas like a Jimmy Holiday that you brought in is more of a speedster, a guy that can make a ton of plays with his legs. Doesn't have maybe the arm that Cadence Salter does, but has probably better speed. So Cadence Salter is kind of a good mix between the two.
Yeah, I definitely like what I've watched of Cadence Alter.
Yeah, and somebody, David Newcomb, mentioned Holiday could be he could change the wide receiver. That's absolutely true. So you could lose 3 quarterbacks before he even gets to campus.
Yeah. Yep.